Against their onslaught, after a decade of life and death battles against the demons, the Demon Defense Agency emerged. The DDA discovered that there are unique demons called aberrants. They harnessed the demon cores of aberrants to create special weapons called Imperium. Because of that, they were able to fight the demons. With the arrival of Imperiums came defenders and elite DDA soldiers capable of wielding them. Defenders are the backbone that protects humanity from demons, but who protects them? Many helicopters were active in the sky, while Atlas, the DDA defender, was on the run. The police were trying to catch him while he's still running in the alley, wondering how did it end like that. Atlas have been fighting demons for years, so no one would have to endure the pain that he suffered, but that whole time he realized that he was nothing but a pawn for the Demon Defense Agency, so he decided that whatever it takes, even he have to do it alone. He'll find the truth. One of the policemen reports that they lost Atlas, but the other policeman said Atlas couldn't have gone far, so they should keep looking, and they should remember who they're dealing with, so nobody should confront Atlas alone. Then the policemen on the street order the citizens to return to their homes immediately because it's not safe there, to which the citizens are confused. On the other hand, Atlas, who's at the top of the building looking at the cops, thinks first they attack him in the middle of the night, then chase him through the city, so he can't trust the DDA anymore. One of the policemen asks how did Atlas escape, because there is only one way out. But his comrade tells him not to underestimate the power of the shadow swords, because with Imperium Atlas can slip in and out of the shadows. It will then. The policemen ask why they after Atlas, and if isn't he the agency's strongest defender. His comrade responded that Atlas finally succumbed to his Imperium's demonic energy, and that's why he never trusts any defenders, because they all go bad eventually. The policemen ask what he did mean to succumb to Imperium. Suddenly someone walks toward them, and when they look back, they saw Sasha. Sasha is also DDA defender. Then Sasha asks the policeman what are they doing, and if shouldn't they be searching like everyone else. The man responded that he just explaining how Atlas lost his mind and attacked the DDA headquarters, to which Sasha asked if she heard him right. The man said Atlas has more confirmed demon kills than anyone in the history of the DDA, while his comrade was in fear behind him. But the man still said everyone says Atlas was always more of a demon than a man, and it's only a matter of time before his Imperium overwhelmed him. Sasha glared at the man angrily. On the other hand, Atlas, who heard everything, thinks no one would believe him if he told them the truth or where demons really come from. Suddenly Sasha angrily tells the man to shut up and said Atlas risked his life for years to protect that city, and he would never have given into his Imperium. Atlas was shocked. Then Sasha pinned the man to the wall and tells him that he doesn't know anything about Atlas, and he wouldn't have attacked the DDA. If he did, there wouldn't be anything left. Sasha also tells the men that there's something the DDA isn't telling them. Then she let go of the men and walks away angrily, while thinking she just needs to talk to Atlas. The man angrily asks what's the point of defending Atlas when he's been a lost? 'Cause ever since he let his wife die, that made Atlas stun. Then he remembers when they were kids, Rachel was the only one who really understood him. Then the kid named Jason said he was going to be the greatest defender one day, and he have the strongest Imperium, so everyone will respect him just like his dad. Rachel said Jason is predictable and just wants to look cool. Then she asked Atlas what about him, which made little Atlas shocked and responded that he doesn't have one. Rachel said he sure does, because everyone dreams of something, but Atlas shyly said all he wants is to have fun and hang out with them. Jason said it doesn't count, because it has to be something awesome and legendary, but Rachel said she liked it and tells Jason that he was just jealous, and she thinks it's a great dream and that's what she want too. Then they start to walk in high school. The man said it was not their fault he was such a bad defender, and how could he expect to protect people from demons when he couldn't even save himself? But Atlas, who's injured, tell the men that they don't understand anything about Jason's death. The man tells Atlas to give up because it's 3 against 1, but Atlas responded that he's not going to stop until they apologize for what they said. Then he punches the man's face, but the man punched him back. Still he punched back again at home after Atlas knows that Rachel was the only one who took care of him. Rachel tells him that he can't keep getting into a fight because they're going to kick him out of school if he keeps it up. Then she presses the ice at Atlas's face while telling him that she just wants people to see him the same way she does. Atlas responded that it was not his fault because they were making fun of Jason's dad, but Rachel angrily tell him that he can't protect everyone and he should let Jason stand up for his family. Atlas said she and Jason are his family. Then Atlas look at Rachel's shy eyes and lean closer to her, then kiss her. Everything was how it was supposed to be, and he thought he could live in his dream forever, but the reality is never so kind. The monster said Atlas in Rachel's house on fire. A few hours later, policemen and firemen tried to put out the fire while Atlas tried to get off at the police who were holding him because his wife is still inside, but the policeman said it was too late and there was nothing he can do. Atlas kneeled outside their house crying and thinking he should have been there with Rachel, but it's all their fault. Then he angrily thinks of those bastards at the DDA, and he doesn't know why the DDA hiding the origin of demons, but he won't let them get away with it. Then they heard a big explosion at the top of the building. Then Sasha looked back while thinking that power. Then she twirls her weapon while wondering if Atlas was up there that whole time. Then she uses her weapon on the ground to jump toward the building. Then she landed on the top of the building while thinking that Atlas always trying to take on everything by himself, but she have a feeling he'll need her help. She look around, but she can't find him. Then she uses her weapon to jump to another building while thinking wherever Atlas going she'll catch up to him. Meanwhile, in some building, the man who's looking at the window tells the other man that he was sloppy to let Atlas see one of the experiments and he should have known it would take more than Cyrus and Kelly to capture Atlas. Then the man angrily asks how will he rectify the mess he has made. The man angrily apologizes and said he'll kill the Shadow Boy himself and bring him his head, but the man slaps him and asks him if he's stupid because Atlas must be kept alive. Then the man angrily tells him not to let his mistake get in the way of his plan and orders him to bring Atlas to him because is certain that Atlas is the one he has been waiting for. Meanwhile, in the alley, Atlas was running away while calming himself and assuring himself that revenge can wait. He also thinks that whatever happens he has to get out of the city before Sasha and Jason get wrapped up in his situation. Then he saw an open alley, realizing that the bridge will be just up ahead, but when he gets out, many policemen were pointing a gun at him, and the chief said he's wanted for an attack on the DDA headquarters and the murder of defenders Cyrus and Kelly. Atlas angrily clenches his teeth, knowing that he can't afford to waste time there. The chief said he have been corrupted by his Imperium. Then he orders Atlas to come with them willingly and stand trial for his crimes, but Atlas said he's the one who was attacked. The DDA is lying to them, and they're lying to all of them. The chief angrily asks him if he's trying to say he didn't kill Crius and Kelly, so if is truly innocent, then he has nothing to fear and stand down. Atlas was silent for a moment and said it's not so simple, so none of them understand what they're getting themselves into. The chief angrily said if that all he have to say, then they have nothing more to talk about. Atlas activate his Imperium while saying he's not in a good mood, and he promises them that they don't want to get in his way, to which the officers fear and wonders if they're really going to fight against Atlas, but the chief order them to prepare to fire. Atlas closes his eyes and holds his swords tightly while thinking if they refuse to listen, he'll just have to show them. Then he looks at the DDA officers angrily. Flashback, the scientist tells Atlas that he has passed the mental and physical exams without exception, and the higher-ups have instructed him to give him a chance to bond with an Imperium, but he warns him because out of all the youngsters like him who have attempted the experiment, only a few made it. So before he decides that he really want to become a defender, they should make sure that they're on the same page. The scientist also tells him, as they know they had their hands full when the demon first appeared 40 years ago, and they're just beginning to understand their basic features and abilities, but then a totally new type of demon emerged. Then the scientists showed something and explained that those demons have unique identities and their power is on a completely different level, and they called them aberrants. Many agents lost their lives defeating the first aberrant demons. However, their sacrifice led to the DDA's greatest discovery, and it was the demon course. Extracting the core of aberrant demons allowed them to create special weapons called Imperium, and by bonding with those empowered weapons, their most elite soldier finally became an even match for the demons. But it's no exact science. Then the scientists showed 3 different cores while saying defenders use Imperiums to harness the power of aberrant demons, but as his friend Jason knows, they are extremely dangerous tools, so if is not compatible with the Imperium he chooses, it will reject him. Even if he manages to bond with it, the Imperium will constantly try to corrupt him with its demonic energy. The scientist also said the 3 cores he sees there represent the Imperiums that he can choose from in order to become a defender. Then the scientist asks if his shore is ready. Atlas pointed at something and said he'd choose it, but Jason asked him if you want to think it through a little more, because it was such a big decision, the scientist said. Atlas sounded confident, and it's better that he doesn't second-guess himself, but Jason fearfully said, Atlas, choose the Shadow Demon's core, and that's the strongest demon the DDA has ever faced. With an Imperium like that, the chances of eventually becoming corrupted are too high. Then Jason put his hand on Atlas's shoulder, who was looking at the Shadow Demon core, while saying he knows how hard he has worked to get there, but no one who's tried to wield the Shadow Swords has survived, and he doesn't have to take that risk. But Atlas just smacked his hand away and responded that he won't understand because he has an Imperium, and he already gets to make a difference as a defender. Jason angrily tells him that he knows how important that is to him, but he knows what happened to his father also. He brought him into the DDA, and if he gets corrupted like his father, they'll have to kill him, so he shouldn't make him go through that again. Atlas tells Jason that he appreciates everything he has done for him, but that is the only way he can make up for what happened to Rachel. And he has to make sure that nobody else has to suffer like that, so it doesn't matter what happens to him. But Jason said it mattered to him because they're best friend, and if he really has to do it, then he won't stop him. But the moment it seems like the Shadow Swords are rejecting him, he'll end the experiment. Then the scientists said they should begin the bonding process and ask Atlas to enter the testing room. Atlas looks at worried Jason and enters the room. Inside the room he saw a knife inside the container shining, and he thinks his dream now is to bond with the Shadow Swords and get revenge on all the demons. Then he closed his eye and said he can do it. Then he grabbed the knife, then release a violet shadow, while the scientist and Jason were quietly looking at Atlas from outside. Then a shadow goes inside him, which made him shout in pain, and corrupted by it, Jason, panicky, tells the scientists to stop the experiment. But the scientist responded that there's nothing they can do, and that it is all up to Atlas because he has to bond with the Imperium. Jason bang at the room door while telling Atlas that he can't lose him too. Then he changes his hand into ice while saying he's coming in. On the other hand, Atlas kneeled on the ground because of the pain, but he remembered Rachel's smile and controlled the Shadow Sword. Then he stand up while Jason break the door of the room behind him. Then he tells Jason not to worry because some stupid swords aren't going to take him down. That made Jason stunned and shocked. Then Atlas holds the swords confidently while thinking that he won't let anything stand in his way back to the current situation. Atlas jumped toward the officers, realizing that his Imperium is more powerful than usual, and he can feel it. The officers tremble in fear, but the chief ordered them not to let Atlas close the distance and fill him with bullet holes, to which the officers followed and shot Atlas, but Atlas just run forward, avoiding all the bullets, while telling the officers that they're not on the same team anymore, so he won't go easy on them. Then Atlas attacked one of the officers, which made it shock and block it using his gun, but the chief ordered him not to try to block Atlas. Imperium because the shadow swords can phase through any object, but it was too late because Atlas shadow sword phases through the gun and cut the officer chest.